Genesis chapter 38, Judah and Tamar, verses 2 through 5. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua, and he married her and went into her. So she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. And she conceived yet again and bore a son, and called his name Shelah. Judah has a wife, her name is Shua, and then they have 3 children together, Onan, and Shelah, in that order. Verses 6 through 8. Then Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord killed him. And Judah said to Onan, Go into your brother's wife and marry her, and raise up an heir to your brother. First off, died because he was not living with the Lord, so the Lord killed him. The Lord is merciful, but he's willing to show justice if it needs to be served. He already showed that in Noah's Ark. Verses 9 and 10. But Onan knew that the heir would not be his, and it came to pass, when he went into his brother's wife, that he admitted on the ground, lest he should give an heir to his brother. The thing which he did displeased the Lord, therefore he killed him also. Same thing. Onan agreed to become Tamar's husband, but he was lying. He just wanted to sleep with her. He was using her because he said, I don't want to have this kid who's not going to be mine. Grave sin. The Lord didn't like that. He showed justice, gave him the punishment he deserved. Verse 11. Then Judah said to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow in your father's house till my son Shelah is grown. For he said, lest he also die like his brothers. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. Judah basically cursed his daughter-in-law Tamar, saying, Look what you've done to my first 2 sons. You've killed them. When they're around you, they become worse people. Don't even think about marrying my 3rd son, Shelah, because you're a horrible person now. I don't want you around them. Really, it's Judah's fault because back in verse 6, Judah was the one that chose Tamar. This is messed up because it's his daughter-in-law. Now he's cursing her for his son's bad decisions. Verses 13 and 14. It was told to Tamar, saying, Look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she took off her widow's garments, covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place which was on the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given to him as a wife. She said, If I can't have the brother, I'm going to have the father. I'm going to go dress myself up, disguise myself, and take Judah to be my husband, and give me a child. Verse 16. Then he turned to her by the way, and said, Please let me come in to you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. And Judah, falling into that lust, said, I'd like to sleep with you, but she was a prostitute. The rest of 16, and then 18 and 19. So she said, What will you give me, that you may come into me? So she said, Your signet and cord, and your staff that is in your hand. Then he gave them to her, and went into her, and she conceived by him. So she arose and went away, and laid aside her veil, and put on the garments of her widowhood. They made a deal, a 2-sided agreement, by the way, so no more excuses for Judah. After the deal was done, they slept with each other. She went away back to her normal life. It was all just a disguise all along. Verses 20 and 21. Judah sent the young goat by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he did not find her. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot who was openly by the roadside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. He went looking for this prostitute, not knowing that that was his daughter-in-law. Verse 24. It came to pass about 3 months later that Judah was told, saying, Tamar your daughter-in-law has played the harlot. Furthermore, she is with child by harlotry. So Judah said, Bring her out and let her be burned. Tamar going to go strike revenge? She got what she wanted. She got a child. But Judah is ashamed of himself, and he's deflecting it on Tamar, saying, Let her be burned. It's truly his fault, but he doesn't want to take the blame because he knows what he did is wrong. Verse 25. When she was brought out, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man to whom these belong, I am with child. And she said, Please determine whose these are, the signet, the cord, and the staff. And she's like, I have proof. Judah, you're the person who got me pregnant. You're calling me an evil person, but you're the one who did this to me. Verse 26. So Judah acknowledged them and said, She has been more righteous than I, because I did not give her to Shelah my son. He never knew her again. Judah finally realizes, he's like, dang, I talked all that stuff about how she's horrible. I would have been better off trusting her from the start and giving my 3rd son to her. Then I went and did a worse sin than all of them. And so when she gives birth, she ends up having twins. For me, this chapter just means don't place yourself higher than other people. We're all the same. We all sin. So don't try to say that you're better than someone else. Don't try to say that you're a worse sinner than me, and then you go and do the same sin. Because then it's going to feel even worse, 1. And 2, you shouldn't even be doing it anyway. Another thing is, don't live by the worldly stuff. I forgot to mention it, but the reason that Judah went and slept with his daughter-in-law was because he was sad that his wife, Shua, had died. Even when you're in a state of weakness, you can't allow sin to get to you. Then when the sin does get to you, don't blame it on these external factors. It's your fault. At the end of the day, you can say no, or you can keep yourself away from sin in general. That's what I think we're all called to do. Thank you for watching.